Hello everyone, how's everyone doing? You guys doing good too? I'm doing good too. Let's get on today's video session. Here we go. After this. This is User Kushorio's Revenge of the Shinobi. On the Sega Mega Drive. Do you remember this, guys? Come on, Yuzo. Kushiro. Go on. Come on. Wow, look at that music, man. Oh, I can't stop myself. He also released Streets Rage 4 on the PC. I can't believe they released that for a long time. Woo! Woo! How you guys doing today? Rocking on as always. Like me, yeah? Woo! Okay. Absolutely amazing rock and roll music, yeah, and so on. So today is some very amazing information. It's quite complex, I have to say. You need to understand this very, very carefully, alright? Now, we are talking about Nintendo Switch, Sony PlayStation 5, and Microsoft Xbox Series X. What about them? Now, the biggest thing about this is that a lot of people don't understand what Sony and Microsoft are playing about. First of all, let's understand Nintendo's technology very clearly. Because Nintendo's technology is different. It's different. Do you remember when they released Nintendo Wii U with a gamepad? It didn't do so well. And it was a massive flop. Sorry to say, but it was. What a shame. Because Nintendo didn't put any advertisements. We didn't know anything about his development. We did a bit. But he actually didn't give us any information when it's going to be released on the market. You know, I just saw the system on the market just like that. What was Nintendo playing about? I have no idea. Why did Nintendo mess up the Nintendo Wii U? And what kind of daft name was Nintendo Wii U? It's absolutely a stupid name. Right, let's go further. Then the company decided to release the system called the Nintendo Switch. Now, Nintendo Switch is a similar technology when we look on the handhelds like Nintendo Game Boy or the Game Boy Advance. It's something like that, okay? It's something to do with them lines. A handheld. They used a mobile technology in this system. Was pretty good because it plays like real games, console games, which is really good. And the thing about this is that it's very different, if you ask me. What's happening here? Because the Nintendo Switch, right, was released as a 3-in-1 system. Handheld, tabletop, TV. Experiences, we know that. But when they released the Nintendo Switch hardware was more powerful than Nintendo Wii U, you know. Pretty impressive, isn't it? Same kind of technology. It's different, it's a bit different. Because when we look at the gamepad was a 480p. And the Nintendo Switch screen is running on 720p HD. But remember this, both of the system on Nintendo Wii U and Nintendo Switch on television is 1080p HD. I mean, when we look at the resolution, it's still 1080p, isn't it? Would it look miles better than the Wii U? That's a big question. I I will be honest with you, it probably wouldn't. All it would be just sharper and more flashier graphics on the Nintendo Switch on the television. It will look a little bit better, but not much. It can't, because it's just like a little bit more powerful with same resolution. 1080p is 1080p in it. But sometimes if your hardware is really more advanced, it can look better. But even it's better, but it's still 1080p, isn't it? HD, you gotta understand that. Now let's go further. With companies like Nvidia, Sony, and Microsoft, they are playing a big game here. A kind of a stupid game they're playing here. Because when we look at the Sony PlayStation 4, right? A Sony PlayStation 4 was running on 4K resolution, you know. In some constant, it was. It was on 4K. Yeah? Some games did run on 4K on the Sony PlayStation 4 Pro. You remember that? They looked pretty good. Yeah? But now, the confusing part here is that Sony is saying that the Sony PlayStation 5 is very powerful. What does it mean by that? So, it's a new hardware in it, a much advanced GPU. Does that change anything? No, it doesn't. It won't. I'll tell you why. Because if the Sony PlayStation 4 Pro was on 4K, it's 4K resolution, you know. The Sony PlayStation 5 is on 4K as well. Yeah, it's the same resolution. But remember, Sony's system was made for up to 8K resolution. Why isn't the Sony PlayStation 5 8K? But the GPU inside this system is 8K. It's true. But the 8K doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Microsoft, if you heard about Microsoft Xbox X, do you remember that? That was a proper 4K system, you know. Yeah. That daft system was bringing in 4K technology, but bringing the same games from Microsoft Xbox One. But they're just in 4K. That was pretty stupid. And then Microsoft goes with Microsoft Xbox Series X. A most powerful game system on the market. He's saying all this, he's bragging about all this stuff. It's 4K. Even the Microsoft Xbox Series X, it's very powerful. It's up to 8K, you know, resolution. The Microsoft one as well. But the problem here is the game developers are only making games in 4K. So what's the point buying this Sony PlayStation 5 and Microsoft Xbox Series X if we're just getting 4K out of it? I don't know if you heard about this. Loads of people complain when we play Sony PlayStation 4 Pro and we play Sony PlayStation 5, they look the same. In terms of graphics, graphically, it will be just the same. It will be just the same. And this is the same story with Microsoft Xbox X. As 4K, yeah? Even with the Microsoft Xbox Series X, you will not able to push any boundaries with Sony or Microsoft system. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Let's just play some music. I'll tell you a bit more about it. Ranger Shinobi. Yes, guys. as always. Okay, now if we go back to Nintendo technology, when we look at Nintendo Wii U, yeah, there is a difference there, okay? Like Nintendo Wii U used a gamepad which gave us a 480p resolution. Concentrate on this properly. Be focused, what I'm saying. Nintendo Wii U used a gamepad, and that gamepad was in a 480p resolution. Yeah? Now the Nintendo Switch on screen, obviously it's just a screen, the vocal screen, yeah? Portably. It's using 720p HD. Aha! It's more powerful. It's more advanced. Can you see how Nintendo is evolving with this technology? From the gamepad, which was 480p, he moved on to the Nintendo Switch, which is a 720p HD. Is it better? It's far better when we look it on screen. Yeah? But the thing with the Nintendo Wii U and Nintendo Switch, it's same resolution on television. Same. It's 1080p HD resolution. Both systems. Okay? Both of them the same. Well, I have seen one thing. The Nintendo Switch looks sharper and, more flashy in graphics. It does look that because of its GPU is doing that, what the GPU the Nintendo Switch is using. But in a way, the graphics are same as Nintendo Wii U. Do you get what I'm saying here? Graphically, when we look at them in the same way, it's the same. Okay? Just Nintendo Switch has got sharper and it looks more flashier on television. That one makes it look better, alright? We know Nintendo Switch released Nintendo Switch Lite. Now Nintendo Switch Lite is a smaller screen version of Nintendo Switch. It's just a handheld system. It's a handheld system, yeah? Now this handheld system is just a handheld, yeah? Then further on, they released a machine called Nintendo Switch OLED model. Now the OLED model is just the same thing, yeah? So all of the three Nintendo Switches, right, are all the same in terms of hardware. The first one is handheld tabletop TV experiences. Nintendo Switch Lite is just a handheld. Nintendo Switch OLED model, it's handheld tabletop and TV experience again, but it's got many special features in there. Yeah, this system is well known for its special features. I know there is comparison videos on YouTube about Nintendo Switch versus Nintendo Switch OLED model. Yes, some of the games look really good because they're using a different screen. They're using a screen which is better than the Nintendo Switch, you see. And in some ways, the screen it's using, it's making a great difference. Obviously, from Nintendo Switch 6.2 screen size, a Nintendo Switch to OLED model, which is 7.2 screen size. That's what it is. So I do think Nintendo Switch is evolving. He has put bit of changes and all that. I have to say that. But when we look at Sony PlayStation 4 Pro, there is no difference with Sony PlayStation 5. Both of the systems are 4K resolutions. If anything's going to change on the Sony PlayStation 5, the game developers need to go on 5K resolution. But right now, it's still 4K. Is the Sony PlayStation 5 worth buying? What do you guys think? No. No. It's waste of money. It's absolutely waste of money. I mean, even the way it's going, it's a massive flop. It's not selling very well anyway. Because if you don't even have good software, like games and all that, you're not gonna be able to sell your system anyway. I can't see any point for moving from Sony PlayStation 4 Pro to Sony PlayStation 5. I can't see no difference. You should only buy Sony PlayStation 5 when it goes into 5K resolution. Now this is the same thing with Microsoft Xbox One as well. The Microsoft Xbox One, Microsoft Xbox X, that's on 4K as well. Should you move on to Microsoft Xbox Series X? No. No, don't do it. It's just still 4K. We are not there to buy another 4K resolution system, are we? If the Sony PlayStation 4 Pro and the Microsoft Xbox X are 4K anyway, what is the point buying a Sony PlayStation 5 and Microsoft Xbox Series X? Because people were interested in these Sony and Microsoft systems because they were excited. Whoa, it's a system's 8K resolution. You ain't going to get that for a long time, alright? You're not going to get that. Okay. The other thing, which has got nothing to do with games console, is something to do with Panasonic. Panasonic released one of the most highest quality televisions I have ever seen. I know what the heck you're talking about. I'll tell you what I mean on that. Because what Panasonic did, because Panasonic knows when we are playing games, they're in 4K. And when we're watching Netflix or any social media app which is doing video streaming, it's in 4K. So what Panasonic did, he didn't increase the 4K Ultra HD. Did you guys know that? Panasonic released televisions to the highest level in the 4K Ultra HD. No joke, no joke. Because I've made some lot of videos on Panasonic televisions before. Please watch them and see what you make out of them. Because whatever Panasonic's doing, he's right. The company's right. And people who are releasing 8K and even higher televisions are wrong. What are you going to do with an 8K resolution television, but if there's no damn game or video content in 8K resolution? What are you going to do with that? Seriously, in a serious consideration, what would you do with an 8K television? Did you know they don't sell very well? No, they don't sell very well. Because people out there, the customers know there is no 8K out there. Now, the gaming that we know of is only in 4K. Yeah? Do not get serious about Sony Microsoft systems. They're just bragging their technology, saying that it's 8K resolution. But the problem here is that till we don't get 5K, please, 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 please do not buy Sony PlayStation 5 and Microsoft Xbox Series X. Do not waste your money. Now, does Nintendo Switch make a lot of sense? It does. It does, man. Let's see how Nintendo collaborated from resolutions. Now we know they had a sister coin N64. Let's not go that behind. When Nintendo released the Nintendo GameCube, yeah, Nintendo GameCube was a definite games console. It still is because a lot of people will still buy because the gaming it owns the one of the best games that has been ever developed on a games console. Yeah. Now the Nintendo GameCube originally was a 480p. Nintendo Wii was a 640p. Nintendo Wii U was 480p on the gamepad and 1080p HD on television. Yeah, this is how he evolved. And then with Nintendo Switch, he improved it a bit. On screen, Nintendo Switch is 720p HD. Wow, amazing. And then on television, it's still 1080p HD resolution. And Nintendo is evolving. It's good because it even looks good on television as well. Because he's used a hardware and a GPU, which makes great difference to the gaming graphics. And you know what? He's been doing lots of updates for his refresh rates, and so the games play a lot better. And that is the reason for Nintendo Switch selling so well. It's improved in hardware. It's improved in graphics. It's even improved in gameplay. What does that mean? I mean, Nintendo Switch is releasing exciting games. That's what makes Nintendo Switch sell quite a lot. Yeah? Where Sony Microsoft systems don't release many good games anyway. But even they do, they're still gonna be 4K resolution, man. I'm telling you. You're not gonna see nothing big in them till you don't get 5K resolution on it. Now, when Nintendo joined Panasonic, I don't know if you know this, Nintendo GameCube and uh, the Panasonic Q Games console as well. Both of them used a HD adapter, right? And with that adapter, the graphics will improve. Yeah, it will go on the level of nearly getting close to the Nintendo Wii. I'm not kidding on that. I mean, it will surpass the Wii U gamepad, and it will be half of the technology of 1080p HD. It looks pretty good. I'm gonna tell you, using the Panasonic Q with a HD adapter, the graphics look nearly good as 1080p HD. I know 1080p HD is a very high resolution. I know that. But still, when I saw Metroid Prime, right, Panasonic Q having the HD adapter, and you play this game through that, wow, it looked amazing. I mean, Metroid Prime is one of the greatest FPS shooter ever made. But if you use the HD adapter on the Panasonic Q and Nintendo GameCube, it looks tremendous. I ain't kidding on that. Looks tremendous, man. Looks amazing. Because by far, buying a Panasonic Cube, we know it's got loads of features. Nintendo GameCube owns one of the finest video games on the planet. I'm not joking. But the point is that Nintendo Switch makes it a great evolution for graphics and gameplay technology. It does that over the Sony PlayStation 5 and Microsoft Xbox Series X. It does a big, big thing. I mean, I was very surprised to see that. Now, this is getting really clear what I'm saying to you. If you guys still think Buying another system in 4K is a good idea. By means, go for it. But I don't think it's a good idea to buy another 4K system. Because why do you want to buy another 4K system? Why do you want to waste so much amount of money to buy another 4K system? I seriously wouldn't buy one. No, I wouldn't. I think you've got a choice of buying a Panasonic Q and the Nintendo Switch. But bear in mind, if you buy a Nintendo Switch over the Panasonic Q, you might regret it a bit. Not just because of the resolution technology, because the availability of gaming the Panasonic Q owns, it will surpass the Nintendo Switch. I'll tell you straight. Now, this summons up all the information about the resolutions and how it works. In today's technology, Nintendo Switch might be the right one to own. Yeah. I do say to Nintendo that they should release some of these Nintendo GameCube games, because the problem, it needs the Nintendo GameCube sequels. It's missing on all them games, man. I think it doesn't make it a good purchase without that, does it? Because we know Nintendo GameCube was famous for them kind of games, but they're not available on the Nintendo Switch. That's what makes the Nintendo Switch kind of disappointing. But overall, when we look at the evolving technology of resolution, it beats the Sony PlayStation 5 and Microsoft Xbox X. Trust me, it beats them. So there you have it. I hope this is clear to you today, and this gives you all information about what I'm saying today. Give your likes, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.